This week in our review of Baron's emotional intelligence competencies, we're going to be looking at stress management and specifically at stress tolerance. Before we get to stress tolerance, we need to understand what stress management is. According to the American Heart Association, stress affects people in different ways, both physically and emotionally. The Heart Association recommends that in order to help ourselves with our stress management, we need to have an action plan and form healthy habits. This will increase our stress tolerance. According to a student guide at the University of Waterloo, stress tolerance is the ability to be relaxed and composed when faced with difficulties. Having positive stress tolerance is being able to stay calm without getting carried away by strong emotions of helplessness and hopelessness. The University of Waterloo's guide identified 10 habits that will help increase a person's stress tolerance. They were paying attention to oneself, evaluating your priorities, avoid being emotionally hijacked, focus on one issue at a time, take a time out occasionally, talk positively to yourself, see the big picture, talk it out with someone safe, any other activity that helps reduce your stress, and if needed, get a stress coach, someone that can help you out professionally. Breaking down each one of these steps for dealing with our stress tolerance, we're going to start with the first one, paying attention. In this, we want to look for our own individual signs of stress. It'll be different for each person. Typical feelings of stress are being overwhelmed, feeling tension in your neck, your back, or your shoulders, having headaches, having trouble sleeping or sleeping too much, or having eating issues, eating too much or eating too little. We need to pay attention to our body and what it's telling us. Second in the Waterloo study is to evaluate our priorities. Have we taken too much on? Are we trying to do too much or cram too much into a single day? We need to prioritize first for ourselves. Our personal interests need to take precedence over those of anybody else. If we can't take care of ourselves, or if we're not emotionally healthy ourselves, we can't really help others. Next, we need to take into consideration our family, our family needs. Then comes our work, because we have to live, we have to pay for our living expenses. Then we can look at recreation, providing ourselves with time to have fun, but not more than we have time for. And then education, how much can we actually handle? We need education, it'll help ourselves in our lives to be able to provide for ourselves. But if we're taking on too much, that can be damaging. It's not uncommon when we are overcome with stress to have our emotions get hijacked by the stress itself. In other words, our emotions get carried away and don't really fit the situation that's going on. They're out of proportion. If we have feelings of being out of control, we've probably been emotionally hijacked. When we begin in our plan to relieve ourselves of stress, we need to do like the previous slide said and not take on too much. In this case, we can focus on one stressful issue at a time. Trying to deal with more than one area can create a great deal of anxiety. We can list our concerns in the order of their immediacy. Which things do we need to address first? Then we start by dealing with the most immediate thing first, and then continue down our list. In doing so, we take control of our lives and control of our stress. Sometimes we just need to stop what we're doing, put ourselves in timeout, and take a break. Our brains need a rest, our emotions need a rest. All the concerns that we're dealing with, they'll all be there when we get done. Sixth in the list is to talk positively with ourselves. Give ourselves words of affirmation to remind us of our own worth and our own capabilities. Things like, I can do this, or I am a strong and capable person. Others are, this will pass, it's only temporary, this isn't the end. Or, I've got through this before, I can certainly do it again. And then importantly is to write those things down so we can revisit them. Seventh in the list is to see the big picture, asking ourselves, what will this problem look like in a week, a month, or a year? Failing at something is part of life. We all do it. It's how we learn. We need to put our concerns in a realistic perspective. Like the cartoon says, we're all going to die one day, and none of this is going to really matter when we do. One of the most important things in dealing with stress is to have someone safe to talk it out with. Identifying a safe person means finding someone who's real, or you can be real with, and authentic with. They need to be trustworthy, of course, caring, encouraging, and supportive through whatever trials you're going through. They can help you get outside of your own head and think more rationally about what's going on. Because we are individuals and deal with things differently, some additional suggestions are things like just breathing deeply or take yourself on a walk. Some people just need to count slowly to 10 just to slow things down and give themselves a chance to breathe. Exercising, of course, is very good. A lot of people like yoga. Some people like to stop and meditate and just think things through. Take the time to do that. Talking to a friend, again, is a very good way to deal with things. Someone who's a good listener. Listening to calm music. Journaling, writing, write down your feelings. And then doing something constructive. Do something artistic. Build something. Create something. Do something to distract your mind from the stress. Lastly, sometimes our stress is just too much for us to handle by ourselves or with our friends. In these cases, we need to get a success coach or even a counselor, someone who's professional and can help us through the difficulties that others cannot. There's nothing to be ashamed about this. Everybody needs help at something. We get help from professionals all the time. We do it for our medical needs. We do it if we need car repairs or if we need something fixed at our house, like our plumbing. To answer the question once again this week of what are the managerial or individual implications of these findings, I'm going to go back to the same saying that I used in the very first presentation. If we do these things, if we manage our stress and increase our stress tolerance, we can no longer see ourselves as lone travelers in life's journey. Instead, we find that we are part of a caravan of travelers making our way together, because together we are more likely to succeed. That concludes this week's presentation on stress tolerance. If you'd like to read any of the materials that I used for my presentation, I've provided the references here for you to look them up.